rolling out as the year goes on, folks. Stay tuned for all that. And also, we have to give a special shout out and a hearty welcome to the latest edition of contributors to Behind Enemy Lines Radio. He is a young man who comes all the way from down under. And let me tell you, my interactions with him so far have been really great. Welcome, Nat Paul, as a contributor to Behind Enemy Lines. We're going to get him on air in the days and weeks to come, folks. But check out his stuff on www.behindenemylinesradio.us. Paul, of course, born in Australia. He has dual citizenship between here and there. At the age of 19, he enlisted in the U.S. Army Reserve. Thank you so much for your service. And, his credentials are amazing. He graduated from the Citadel with a degree in political science and a focus on international affairs and a minor in East Asia studies. There's a lot of similarities between me and Russ in that. I was also an Asian studies major. I had an international studies focus in college. He has the military background just like Russ. He's kind of like an amalgam of me and Russ put together. Hopefully he doesn't swear or drink as much. But listen, look out for his stuff. Welcome aboard, Nat, and we're glad to have you. Looking forward to great things from you in the future. Listen, we had a great show. Time for a little bit of a final thought. And I'm going to use it to talk about, what else? President Donald Trump. But it's time to recognize that President Trump has the makings of a great president. Just look at the news in the past month regarding North Korea. Look at the amazing job with the state dinner recently and his growing relationship with Emmanuel Macron from France. The leadership role he has taken, I know he took a beating on the attack on Syria in response to the use of chemical weapons. But leaders don't always do popular things, but look at the leadership on the world stage that President Trump is doing right now. Give that man a Nobel Prize if he's able to dismantle North Korea's nuclear program. I know some are going to say out there, well, they're not really giving up anything because the facilities that they're giving up are not usable anymore and things like that. I think he's just getting started. I think he's going to keep the pressure on. We've gotten to this point with North Korea because President Trump put the pressure not only on North Korea but also on China. If he ends up taking care of this issue and we end up seeing a non-nuclear North Korea or a cease of the proliferation of nuclear weapons and intercontinental ballistic missiles, give that man a Nobel Prize. He's done more to earn it than President Obama did to earn his. And for those of you who were worried that President Trump would not be a world leader and push us back to some 18th, 19th century posture of isolationism, all you need to do is look at the state visit by Emmanuel Macron of France to see that that is entirely not the case. I saw a jovial, congenial relationship between the two leaders. And by the way, what an amazing job Melania Trump did in putting together a beautiful first date dinner. She doesn't get nearly enough credit for being a pillar of strength in this White House. Of course, going to Barbara Bush's funeral, represent the president, and maybe we'll talk about Barbara Bush a little later, and I'm getting choked up on that as it is right now, but we're going to push past that a second. President Trump has emerged as the leader that many of us on the right thought he would be, and no one on the left anticipated. Everyone anticipated a train wreck disaster, return to backward policies, loss of credibility on the world stage. It's not happening, folks. It's simply not there. President Trump has emerged as a leader who's actually trying to get things done. He's taken a hard stance with Putin and Russia over Syria. Nikki Haley in the UN has been an absolute bulldog. The president with North Korea has made just about all the right moves, and if he continues the pressure, He's going to make all the right moves to complete the task there. And it's just a testament to the leadership ability of President Trump and his ability to stake out a position, negotiation 101, stake out a far unreasonable position and not be dragged back to the middle the way that Democrats and President Obama were. There is no more apologist in chief, folks, on the world stage. President Trump has announced his presence with authority and is asserting himself as his presidency develops, more so and more so. It's a wonderful, refreshing thing to see. And I guess we call that a final thought, but it's not really the final thought tonight. I do want to reflect a little bit on the passing of a great lady. Not someone I ever got to meet, but someone I always felt like I knew. And I'm talking about, of course, first lady, first mother, matriarch of the Bush family, Barbara Bush. Now, politics aside, I may not agree with every Bush in the land and their policies. I certainly agree with George Herbert Walker Bush on points and disagree with him on others. Same thing with George W. Bush and the same thing with Jeb. Oh, with Jeb, my goodness. But we all, as a nation, need to recognize Barbara Bush raised an amazing family. She lived a love story beyond what Hollywood could ever create. The more you hear about the Bush family and the ties that bind, you hear about how Barbara Bush was the glue of it all. And our prayers are with the family tonight, especially with news that George Bush Sr. is in the hospital shortly after the funeral. And the heartache, I can't imagine, of losing someone that you've been with for 3/4 of your life. I can't imagine it all. I don't want to imagine it all. But I do want to imagine all the good times that they had. And the more stories that I see from people online that knew them, that share those stories, the more I feel like we've lost someone great. So, thoughts and prayers this week to everyone in the Bush family. And may Barbara rest in peace and God bless the family. And on that note, folks, it's time to shut this sucker down. I want to thank Josh Tolley for coming on the show. Check out his books. And, of course, check out his radio show. Well, I guess we'll plug the competition. Check out his radio show. Check out the websites and the social medias. And until next week, folks, where we do it all again, it's time to shut this sucker down. Gene Baradelli behind enemy lines. We are out of here. Good night, folks.
Our position has been compromised. It's time to roll out. Report for debriefing at www.behindenemylinesradio.us and look for regular communications via Facebook and Twitter at BEL_radio. You are the resistance. Behind Enemy Lines. A rock radio production. Back in 7 days. Out.